Chapter 20. Act. Dreaming is one thing, but acting is another. Behave. The children must behave in a way which will be socially acceptable. Deed. The primacy of the deed is over word and thought. Accustom. They had to accustom themselves to the hot weather. React. An acid can react with an alkali to form a salt. Respond. I offered him a drink, but he didn't respond. Reflect. Her look reflected the thought passing through her mind. Bear. They must bear most of the blame. Adopt. They adopted our effective methods. Nourish. Milk could nourish a baby. Mow. I want to have my garden mowed. Support. We should encourage and support them to participate in collective activities with friends, family, colleagues, and support groups. Exhale. Take a deep breath, then exhale slowly. Intake. He heard a sharp intake of breath. Revive. The fresh air soon revived him. Survive. The man was very ill, but he survived. Glare. The glare of the oncoming headlights temporarily blinded me. Glimpse. I caught a glimpse of our new neighbor. Glance. The man glanced at the burglar climbing out of the window. Peep. I peeped through the window to see if she was there. Gaze. The child gazed at the toys in the shop window. Peer. The new postman peered through the mist, trying to find the right house. Stare. He stared at the word, trying to remember what it meant. Contemplate. The young surgeon contemplated the difficult operation of kidney transplant. Vow. The couple made their wedding vows at St. Paul's Church. Oath. He swore an oath to support and protect the king. Pledge. The conflicts continued in spite of a no-strike pledge by the unions. Whistle. The referee blew the whistle at the end of the game. Reply. He tried to reply and then stopped. Notify. I notified him that the meeting had been postponed. Assert. Justice will assert itself. Explain. He explained his plan in detail. Quarrel. We had a quarrel about the price. Dispute. A long dispute means that both parties are wrong. Argument. We accepted the agreement without argument. Mention. As for that film you mention, not my scene. Hurry. I'm in no hurry to get back to school. Hasten. It was now obvious that she was hastening to restore the car to its owner. Urge. They urged Washington to reconsider its decision. Scold. Don't scold the child without reason. Curse. A light purse is a heavy curse. Swear. He had to swear that his story was true. Provoke. Mind you, that dog is very dangerous when provoked. Preach. He was always preaching about the benefits of exercise and fresh air. Boast. Nobody should boast of his knowledge. Tease. If you always tease others like that, you'll forfeit the good opinion of your friends. Mock. They mocked at my timidity. Touch. By the way, you don't want to touch the onion and then touch your eyes. Hug. He hugged his daughter tightly. Tap. My father tapped me on the shoulder. Clap. Let's give the children a big clap. Applaud. Everyone applauded when the play ended. Kneel. The man knelt down to say his prayer. Catch. It is natural for a cat to catch mice. Snatch. He snatched the book from my hands. Grab. She grabbed the seat near the fire before I could. Grasp. A man who grasps at too much may lose everything. Overtake. I had to drive very fast to overtake you. Follow. You are to follow his advice. Grip. She has a fragile grip on reality. Mess. Your books and magazines are all in a mess. Go and put them in order. Twist. Twist the lid to open it. Scatter. The crowd scattered when a dustbin suddenly exploded. Fold. She folded the letter so that it would fit into her bag. Fasten. Please fasten your seatbelts while the plane is taking off. Loosen. My belt is too tight. I must loosen it. Smash. Although the bed was smashed to pieces, the man was miraculously unhurt. Scratch. He scratched the insect bite on his arm. Wipe. She wiped off the dust with a rag. Scrape. The family has to scrape by on Social Security. Polish. Silver can be easily polished with this special cloth. Peel. My skin always peels when I've been in the sun. Split. The crowd split into several groups. Sway. Swaying hips properly is the basis of the heel and toe walking race. Shake. The movie didn't give me any kind of shake. Vibrate. Some insects' wings vibrate so fast that the movement is invisible to the human eye. Whirl. He whirled about in the yard. Rotate. You can rotate the wheel with your hand. Reel. My head reeled with the facts and figures. Shuffle. With sore legs and aching chest, he shuffled over to the bathroom. Collide. In running around the corner, he collided with another man. Contact. This remote tribe had little contact with the outside world. Connect. Has the phone been connected yet? Combine. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen can combine to form carbohydrates and fats. Bond. These two different materials won't bond together. Integrate. Little attempt was made to integrate the parts into a coherent whole. Wrap. Wrapped up in this shawl, you look more pretty. Penetrate. Western ideas penetrate slowly through the East. Pierce. The needle pierced the material. Insert. Insert. He inserted the key into the lock but could not open the door. Tilt. I tilted the cup to drink out of it. Tow. We towed the car to the garage. Trail. The carriage drove along a dirt road and left a trail of dust. Arrange. Contact your local branch to arrange an appointment. Manipulate. He uses his credit to manipulate his supporters. Steer. He steered the ship carefully among the reefs. Baptize. It transpired that Mark had been baptized a Catholic. Bet. I bet our team will win. Stake. I'd stake my all on it. Gamble. Don't gamble with your future. Promise. I hope you'll keep your promise to come for a long visit. Attract. She was attracted by the novel advertisement. Obsess. He became absolutely obsessed with the girl in the red. Mesmerize. I stood by the lake, mesmerized by the flashing colors of the fish. Nightmare. This midterm exam is a nightmare. Amaze. John amazed his friends by suddenly getting married. Marvel. I marvel at how it can be so. Astonish. We were astonished to hear that their football team had won the championship. Involve. This forum will involve people with specialist knowledge. Annoy. Sometimes we annoy or upset others unintentionally. Upset. I hope I haven't said anything to upset you. Bewilder. A new environment can bewilder and frighten a child. Irony. The irony is that some of the poorest countries have the richest natural resources. Indignity. The soldiers who were captured had to endure many indignities at the hands of the enemy. Contempt. A liar is held in contempt. Neglect. In course of time, old customs and observances tend to fall into neglect. Disregard. Disregarding all difficulties, we succeeded in bringing them around in the end. Ignorance. Where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. Bias. His experiences bias him against businessmen. Deviate. His statement deviates from the truth. Expel. The pupil was expelled for stealing. Flee. Follow love and it will flee. Flee love and it will follow thee. Bully. He's always bullying smaller boys. Panic. When the theatre caught fire, there was a panic. Terrify. Her husband's violence terrified her. Revenge. Hamlet took revenge for his father's murder. Kidnap. A businessman has been kidnapped. Hijack. The terrorist hijacked the plane and held all the passengers hostage. Smuggle. He was caught smuggling cameras into the country. Convict. Convict. He was convicted of murder. Strangle. The economist argues that high taxation strangles the economy. Massacre. The massacre of Jews by Nazi in World War II was appalling. Decimation. Those policies resulted in a decimation of essential services used by the poor. Intervene. I shall leave on Sunday if nothing intervenes. Impede. Nothing can impede his progress. Allure. Those unwary investors are allured by promises of quick profits. Bait. He is known for baiting his opponents. Induce. Nothing shall induce me to join their club. Tempt. Apply generous amounts of sunscreen 15 minutes before you go out. Don't allow impatience to tempt you into sunburn. Designate. He designated Smith as his successor. Assign. It is not possible to assign this building an exact date. Distribute. His part-time job on Sunday was to distribute leaflets on the street. Dispatch. He dispatched his breakfast and left. Detach. He had to detach himself from social activities for the time being in order to concentrate on his studies. Undo. He finally managed to undo this knot. Disguise. The spy disguised herself as a nurse. Conceal. He was unable to conceal his surprise. Refuse. Jonah's mother refused to let him go abroad. Exclude. They excluded people under 18 from joining the club. Reverse. He reversed the judgment and set the prisoner free. Assure. I can assure you of the reliability of the news. Undertake. The developed countries should undertake the main responsibilities of global warming. Stipulate. We have stipulated a date of payment and a price. Convince. He finally convinced us of his innocence. Reassure. When the child was afraid in the storm, his parents reassured him. Wish. I wish it to be clearly understood. Aspire. These college graduates aspire to careers in finance. Desire. He desired a college education. Yearn. The children who had been abducted and sold yearned to return to their homes. Invoke. The man despaired and invoked the gods. Itch. I've got an itch on my back. Attempt. He studied hard in an attempt to pass the exam. Strive. With the power of will and wisdom, we can strive for victory. Effort. Our efforts were unavailing. Fulfill. We are determined to fulfill the task. Range. The prices ranged from £10 to £20. Sort. We must sort out the good apples from the bad ones. Loom. A hard struggle looms ahead. Launch. Full market research is needed before a new product is launched. Commence. I will commence a round of visits. Exploit. They plan to exploit oil under the sea. Explore. We must explore all the possibilities to find the solution to the problem. Exert. For college students to do a part-time job will exert a profound influence on their personality and life. Tackle. Everyone has their own problems to tackle. Cope. I'm afraid I can't cope with these troubles. Dispose. I have to dispose of this pile of old papers and magazines. Conduct. Conduct. His conduct contradicts his words. Omit. The secretary omitted the date when typing the contract. Delete. References to places of battle were deleted from soldiers' letters during the war. Cancel. The match had to be cancelled due to the bad weather. Clear. It seems clear that he has no reasonable alternative. Erase. Jim tried to erase the idea from his mind. Rescue. They rescued the boy who fell into the river. Resort. I'm sorry you have resorted to deception. Recover. She soon recovered and stopped crying. Restore. It's hard to restore a broken mirror. Rectify. I hope I can find a way to rectify your opinion of my behavior. Redeem. You botched the last job but can redeem yourself on this one. Offset. He offset his small salary by living economically. Replenish. Your body is in survival mode and needs food to replenish its energy. Obtain. It is wise to obtain an independent valuation. Gain. Every time they reap gains from their investment, more people wish to join them. Supply. Domestic consumers were supplied enough necessities by those companies. Offer. They reject all our offers to help. Render. You have rendered great service. Enlarge. This photograph probably won't enlarge well. Augment. With the birth of his third son, he found it necessary to do something to augment his income. Magnify. Fame is a magnifying glass. Amplify. The student amplified his new findings with drawings and figures. Exaggerate. A painter may exaggerate or distort shapes and forms. Prolong. We must prolong the runway of the airfield. Uphold. The appeal court upheld the sentence. Backup. Make a backup of any work you do on the computer. Propel. His addiction to drugs propelled him towards a life of crime. Update. Our email addresses are unlikely to be updated every day. Raise. Please raise your hand if you've been told you're too aggressive at work. Leak. A small leak will sink a great ship. Spill. The teacup is so full that the tea might spill over. Seep. Rain seeped through the roof. Ooze. Blood oozed from his wound. Evacuate. The village was evacuated because of the threat of a flood. Trench. The firemen successfully trenched the roof, preventing the fire from spreading further down the block. Saturate. The air was saturated with the perfume of flowers. Excuse. Excuse. There is no excuse for trespassing on private property. Forgive. I'll never forgive you for what you have done wrong to my friend. Contain. The speech contained some interesting ideas. Regard. You can't regard him as a friend, but a business associate. Flatter. He flattered her on her cooking. Worship. She gazed at the famous singer with worship in her eyes. Cause. Police are investigating the likely cause of the explosion. Sake. You should take care of your niece for the sake of your sister. Purpose. Their purpose is to build a fair society and a strong economy. Objective. My objective this summer is to learn to swim. Arouse. The young man's behavior aroused the suspicions of the police. Trigger. He accidentally triggered his revolver. Seek. They are seeking the most reasonable diet which will do good to their health. Retrieve. Henry did his best to retrieve the situation. Testify. I won't testify against my friend. Verify. He tried in every way to verify this theory. Specify. Can you specify the reasons? Enlighten. For all my effort to enlighten her, she was still all adrift. Impart. She imparted the secret to her boyfriend. Deserve. You deserve a reward for being so helpful. Drop. In the winter, the temperature often drops below freezing. Sink. The captain of the sinking ship used flares to attract the attention of the Coast Guard. Plummet. The damaged aircraft plummeted down to earth. Muffle. The sound of the bell was muffled by the curtains. Overshadow. He overshadowed all his competitors. Invite. She invited us to her party. Welcome. We welcome constructive criticism. Greet. The audience greeted his speech with a great cheer. Salute. They saluted each other by raising their hats. Celebrate. They all passed the exam and celebrated with a party. Congratulate. We must congratulate you on your engagement. Bless. It is more blessed to give than to receive. Participate. If only I could participate in your good fortune. Farewell. The girl had come on the pretext of bidding him farewell. Assort. His actions do not assort with his promises. Correspond. These goods don't correspond with my order. Accord. The government and the rebels are in accord on one point. Attribute. Attribute. David attributed his company's success to the unity of the staff and their persevering hard work. Recall. Recall the misery of the past and contrast it with the happiness of today. Recollect. I can recollect hearing his speech. Remind. These photos remind me of my childhood. Retell. The student was asked to retell the story in his own words. Repeat. A large proportion of our bookings come from repeat business and personal recommendation. Retrospect. It was, in retrospect, the happiest day of her life. Impress. His courage and determination impressed his rivals. Surmount. The hill is surmounted by a church. Mortify. He was mortified by his inability to answer the question. Pervade. The smell of cooking pervaded the entire house. Replace. We'll get someone or other to replace him. Substitute. We recommended this brand as a good substitute. Distinguish. Some people cannot distinguish between some colors. Differentiate. This company does not differentiate between men and women. They employ and pay both equally. Incline. Incline. What he said inclines me to think that he will agree to our plan. Lean. She leaned against his shoulder. Sideways. The dog swatted the hedgehog sideways.